ain't my company. I don't work here. So you guys are asking, hey Brian, what the hell are you doing here? Well, I've told you guys a million times, don't ever, ever burn the bridges behind you. Why? Because you just don't know what the future holds in store. You want to know what I'm doing down here? Stick around, man. You got to come on in and find out. See you in a minute. Now I got giggles. Hold on. Jesus Christ. All right. So what am I doing here? I got your attention with the intro. What am I doing here? Well, we're just going to have a little chat. Just me and you. Nobody else. There's nobody else here. Just you and me. Just the two of us. We're going to talk about a couple things. First of all, I'm not working for ET. So let's just put that to bed. I've not come back. I'm doing this as a favor for a friend of mine. Simple as that. I'm not being paid. There's no excuses, no bullshit going on here. I'm doing this just because somebody asked me to do it, and I said, yeah, why the hell not? But we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about why I left, some of the things that happened when I left as to do with my truck and the lease and whatnot like that, and some of the things that I've been gone 2 years. So some of the things that have gone on in my life over the last 2 years since I've been gone, whether it be, you know, surgeries that I've had, medical problems that I've had, what the market's doing and how it's affected me as an owner-operator and a businessman. So we're just gonna quickly touch on a couple of those things, if that's all good with you guys. I got nothing to do for the rest of the day. Hopefully you guys are going to stick around. So let's get the big elephant out of the room right away. Why did I leave ET? I didn't get fired. I wasn't asked to leave. I left ET because of some differences in business. What they were doing and what they had me doing didn't necessarily fit what I wanted to be doing. And I went to Ronan in management and voiced my concerns and talked briefly about what was going on. And I thought, you know what? Maybe it's time to move on. And I did. Obviously, I've moved on to another company. A lot of you know. And I've been there for 2 years and I'm doing quite well there. But when I left here, there were some things that you guys wanted to know and I never got the chance to tell you. So I'm going to tell you. First of all, when I left, I did take the truck with me. It was my truck. I did purchase this truck from ET. This truck was never a lease op deal. It was in their fleet. I bought the truck from ET. We did some videos, ET's got some videos, we did some videos about that. If you go back, you can see those videos of the purchase of the truck and how we did it. It was very simple, the way we did the purchase on the truck. You guys know that I had the Volvo, and then I sold the Volvo and I bought that beautiful W9. I had the W9 for a short period. It wasn't a good fit, but in the back of my mind, buying that truck, I knew I was gonna be flipping it anyway. So I was able to sell the Volvo, buy the Kenworth, sell the Kenworth, and then I was without a truck. And then if you guys remember, there was a stream of videos that we put out. It was called the 90-day challenge, right? Ronan challenged me and I took him up on it. This truck was, it's a 2020 and it was in their fleet. It was only 8 months old when it was handed over to me. And Ronan challenged me for 90 days to run this truck and we were gonna document it. We were gonna document all the repairs, the fuel mileage, basically how this truck performed over a 90-day period. I was on the van division at that time here at ET and I was going everywhere. So I wasn't on a dedicated route back and forth. I was going everywhere, all 48 states and all the provinces. So we did that line of videos, and then when that ended, I didn't have a truck. I needed a truck. So Ronan said, well, we've got some that are 18s and 19s that they're about to roll over. They were either gonna put lease ops, offer them out for lease, or they were gonna put them out for sale. And I didn't want a 18 or a 19. I wanted this one, but this one wasn't for sale. It wasn't on the market and they weren't wanting to sell it. But I am a persistent little bastard sometimes, and I just kept at Ronan, right? Like I'm just like that little chihuahua, and I just kept at him and kept at him. Finally, Ronan went to management and they decided, okay, they're gonna throw me a solid and they're gonna sell me the truck, even though it wasn't up for sale. Like I said, it was only, well, it was 8 months when I got into it, so 9, 10, 11, it was only a year old when I got the purchase on it. I then had to go get my own financing, which I did. Believe it or not, at that time we were also promoting a way. We had links in a lot of our videos on how to finance your truck, how to get financing on your truck. And we had offered, I think there was 4, maybe 5. Now this is going back 2 years, guys. The brain's, you know, I'm not exactly perfect. I don't remember exactly, but I think there was 4 or 5 different companies, and I did exactly that. I was sitting in Ronan's office. I hit the link, put it in, and I shopped my financing around. And I got a call back. Out of the 4, we got 3 back right away. Right away, we got 3 back. And I started talking to them until I got the rate and the term that I wanted. I didn't want a long-term financing deal with any company, and I wanted an affordable payment. I wasn't willing to go with a $3,000 or a $3,200 payment. Luckily for me, I had the sale of the Kenworth. I had that money. I had a little money left over from the Volvo. I was able to put a substantial down payment down, which I gave to ET Transport, and then I got financed on the rest. I got the deal I wanted. I got the 3 years. My payment was $2,000 plus tax, so it was $2,394 or something, whatever it was. Let's say $2,300 or $2,400 with tax, and that's how I ended up with the truck. The only stipulation that was put in place, and at that time, our ownership came down to Ronan and said, well, we're gonna sell him the truck, but you have to remember, I want you to know this as well, they didn't sell me this truck at retail. This truck had a retail price of, and I'm not telling you, that's none of your business, but I got the truck at wholesale price. This truck was not a full price deal. I got a really good deal. And that again was Ronan going to ownership saying, hey, like, let's work with him, and you know, he's done some work for us, he's on the channel, blah, blah, blah. You know what Ronan's like, you know, he still says Illinois, and it was the Packard engine. So, had to throw that at Ronan right quick. But we're not gonna pick on Ronan, let's not pick on Ronan. So they did that. They sold me the truck at wholesale. I got a really good deal. Taxes in, everything like that. Everything was perfect. It's perfect, people. No, it's perfect. We got the financing settled up. It took me 14 hours between a Monday and a Tuesday. So it started on Monday afternoon, and by midday Tuesday, the deal was signed and I had the truck. Now, to get back to what I was saying, the only stipulation that came down from ET management and ownership was I had to be here for a year. Because they sold the truck to me at such a really good price, I had to stay at ET for a year, or I would incur a $10,000 penalty, which I would have to stroke a $10,000 check back to the owners. And a lot of you know, I didn't make it the year. At the 7-month mark, I decided to part ways, and I was prepared to have to stroke the check for 10 grand. I didn't want to, but fair is fair. They had saved me way more than $10,000 just with the purchase of the truck and everything like that. So when I came back to Ronan afterwards and said, okay, like, you know, I'm leaving, you know, let's do it. They actually waived the 10 grand. I never had to pay the 10,000 bucks. So that was a solid bonus. Again, even on my way out the door, they were gracious enough not to stroke me with a $10,000 bill. So that's where it went. And I never had to pay that. So now the financing is done. I'm out the door. I'm now working for a new company, but I've made some friends here. Ronan has always been a friend to me. He's been a friend to me since the day I started here. I joined the AT channel right when we started it. When Ronan first started the YouTube channel, I was involved pretty much right from the beginning, and from there, him and I became good friends. And just because I left didn't mean that you don't forget about your friends. It doesn't matter what you're doing or where you're going. You know, you don't just drop your friends because you don't work there anymore. So it's been 2 years since I've been gone. I think it's even a little bit more than 2 years. Now, do I talk to Ronan on a daily basis? No, I don't. But I do try to connect with him probably monthly, and if I don't hook up with him monthly, I would say probably every second month. And it's always gonna be that way. We've got a lot in common. We both love, you know, doing YouTube. We both love the channels. We're both heavily invested in trucking. We love trucking. We're both family men. We've both got beautiful wives at home and beautiful children at home. So we've got a lot in common. We've got a lot to talk about. And that's, you know, that's why him and I have remained friends. It's just been a natural thing for us. But it's also along the same lines of what I said to you before, is you don't burn your bridges behind you. Now, that's not to say that I'm not burning a bridge because I'm never going to come back to ET. And I don't know what 5 years down the road hold. Well, 5 years from now, I'll be retired. Forget I even said that. But you know what I'm talking about. You do not burn your bridges. Why? Because I've still got a good friendship with Ronan. I've still got a very good friendship with several of the other drivers that I was working with. Just because I'm not working with them doesn't mean you don't pick up the phone and talk to them. So we don't burn our bridges behind us. And that's what I'm talking about here is you just don't know what the future is going to hold. So why screw yourself over? And in doing so, why take a chance of losing a good friend? There's been a couple of times in business, I've had to call Ronan and say, hey, this is the situation I'm dealing with. I could use some advice here. You know what? He gave it to me. Why? Because he's a friend of mine. You know, he didn't charge me. You know, it's not a business transaction. He's a friend, and that's good to have. Believe me, I've made some mistakes in this business over the last 30 years, and it's good when you've got friends who are there to either help you, back you up, or pick you up when you get knocked on your ass. Ronan's one of them. So now you know what happened, where I was. Let's see where I'm going. Let's see where I'm at. Well, what are the struggles of what I'm doing? A lot of you know where I am, where I'm working, and what I'm doing. But let's start with the market. How has the market affected what I'm doing, my business, my life? Let's say we know the market bottomed out, right? The market right now is in the toilet. It's been in the toilet for, well over a year now, and rates are low, expenses are high. In my own personal life, the money that we're making is not keeping up with the cost of living for doing business. And I'm talking about fuel, truck prices, parts, shops to get your truck worked at. All of that has gone up probably about 45% or more, and yet our rates have not kept up with that, or even kept close. Let's just face it, they haven't moved. Right? They haven't moved. So how have I been doing? Well, in the beginning, it was a struggle. I'm a mileage paid driver. I'm paid by the mile. So when the wheels don't turn, there's no money for Bry. So what have I been doing? Well, the company I was at obviously took a hit, a lot just like everybody else. Miles went from, we were doing 3,500 miles a week. After all your expenses, your fuel and all your shit, and you're clearing 4,500 to $5,000 a week. And all of a sudden, wham, that gets cut down by 2/3. I went down to about 11 to 1,200 miles a week. Well, you can't live on that. Even when you've got a low, you've got your fixed costs are as low as you can possibly get them, and you've got a very firm grasp on your variable costs, it's very, very difficult to make up 2/3 of what you were making. Doesn't matter how good you are going to be hurt. And did I get hurt? Sure. Just like everybody else. Now, did it hurt me to the point where I had to step out, lose my truck, lose my home, lose my dog, play an old country record backwards? No, that didn't happen. I'm still at the same company. And this is something I want to emphasize to you guys. First of all, if you know me, first and foremost, I don't take no for an answer, okay? I really don't. I try my very best. When something's happening, there's always, it's not strike 1, 2, 3, you're out. There's always another option. And I did that, okay? I refuse to let go. It's like, all right, the truck is under control, we're good. Finances at home are good. Okay, the bank account is still getting a little low. I've had a couple medical procedures that had to get done, so I had some time off while all of this was going on as well. But we managed to get through all that. What I'm getting at is I was able, because of the company I work at, they have multiple divisions. I was able to sit there and go, okay, I'm not making any money here, but I see an opportunity over there. Let's approach over there and see what they've got to offer, sort of in the meantime, bounce. I'm still working at the same company, I'm just working in another division. So then I got into doing some heavy haul work, and that has seemed to have been able to more than pick up the slack for what I was doing over there. When that dries up, I'm gonna have to go back out onto the spot market, just like all you guys. I'm gonna have to go back over and I'll be pulling, like for example, this week here, you can see I'm sitting on a flatbed. I'm sitting on our own flatbed. This isn't an ET flatbed, this is one of ours. The heavy haul worked at a small glitch. They were short a couple days work. So I flopped back over here and I grabbed a load, went out to Michigan, delivered the load yesterday, and I'm on my way back. So that's why I stopped in here to say hello to some people and got poof, lassoed into doing this. Anyway, never say no. Always keep your options open and always be looking for something else. If you see the market slowing, if you see something happening, start looking around. I'm not saying, you don't have to be a grasshopper and jump company to company, but always keep your options open. And that's something I've always done. Luckily for me, in this case here, I didn't have to jump, grasshopper it, and I didn't have to jump from company to company to company. Luckily for me, I didn't have to take the name off my door. I didn't have to change my plates. I didn't have to do anything. And it was as simple as that. And that's what I've been doing. And that's what I'm going to continue doing. Hopefully, what I would like to do. I'd like to do it till at least the end of the year. And then maybe hop back over and go back out on the spot market. It all depends on what the market's doing. Do I miss the open road? Hell yeah. Right? What I'm doing is a dedicated load. I'm doing, straight down, straight pick up, deliver, back, reload, back down, deliver, back. And is it getting a little monotonous? Of course it is. But it's paying the bills, and you got to do what you got to do to pay the bills. I'm not willing to sit back and wait for the market to change. I'm not going to let that happen. Obviously, I'm going to go out and make things happen for me, and that's what I've done. If in the event something like this happens, it gets a little slow there, I can hop over here. I got no problem with that. Keeps my hands in it, doing flatbed work. I'm doing flatbed work over there as well, so it's working out for me. Business-wise, I've had a hell of a run. So aside from the financing, the truck, me leaving, the market, I'm making a move. I'm staying working at the same company, but I'm making a move. Some of you already know there's a move going out to Alberta. I'm still going to be working here. I'm still going to be doing everything that I'm doing here, but the house has been sold and we're moving to Alberta. I'm just a little sick and tired of Ontario. Let's just leave it there. And it is part of the retirement plan, right? My career is spanned over 30 years. I've been an owner-operator for 23 of them. I don't owe this business anything. It's time for me to slowly start winding it down, and that's where I want to be when it's time to say, you know what, hang the keys up, let's get the hell out and walk away. That move is actually happening in approximately 2 weeks, and we're really happy about that, believe me. I've had a couple other things happen. I've got, obviously you guys knew from past videos, I'm married, I've got a great woman at home. I've got a gaggle full of kids. The last time I talked to you guys, I had five daughters. I now have a sixth. And now you're sitting there going, really, Bri? Okay, like, believe it or not, Brian was young at one point. Brian was not married, Brian was single, and Brian was having fun like most young 20-something guys do. And believe it or not, a child was born, to which I didn't know anything about. And about a year and a half ago, she found me. I got that, that knock on the door that everybody dreads. Well, I didn't dread it. It turned out that it's been a great thing. I ended up now with a sixth daughter, and she's fantastic. She's married to a great man, and I'm a grandfather. Believe it or not, I've got now 6 daughters aging between the ages of 32 and 22, and no grandkids until this new daughter comes along, and she slid one in. So I'm now a grandfather. I am absolutely thrilled with that. My life has now been enriched even more. So I've got a great woman at home. I've got great family. Do they drive me nuts? Come on, man. If you had 6 daughters and a woman at home, that's a lot of estrogen running around, man. See the gray hair? I've earned them all, man. I've earned them all. But on the other hand, I wouldn't trade them for anything in the world. My business is doing well. The transportation industry, I'm not going to say it's on an upswing, because it's not, but it's not as bad as it was, say, a year ago. There are gems out there, and if you can find those gems and get hold of those gems, you can make it in this business. You can do well. I'm still pushing for the owner-operators, right? The small-time owner-operators. Unfortunately, it looked for a while there that the big megas were going to push guys like me out, but I'm still pushing. This industry needs the small-time owner-operator, so I'm still pushing. If you want to be an owner-operator and you can do it right, like how we used to say it, you've got the money in the bank to float you, you've got your truck down payment down, you've got a truck spec'd out at a reasonable price, and you know what you're going to do with it. If you've got all of that in place and you've got good financing and you can get on with a company that's going to take care of you, that's a key fact. It doesn't matter where you work, okay? Let's just say it. Doesn't matter where you work, you're going to find something you don't like. The trick is to find the one that has the most things that you do like, and that's the trick. Do your research, find the company, find one that's going to work with you. If you can meet all of those criteria, I still encourage you to become an owner-operator. Before you do any of that, I encourage you, if you're a new driver, you come into this business, let's get your 3 to 5 years driving experience. You take a company ride, 3 to 5 years, let's get that down. That way you know the business, or you know the industry, you know the roads, you know what you know the laws of the land, you know the hours of service, you know where you're going, you know how to drive a truck. After 3 to 5 years, you're not necessarily a steering wheel holder anymore. You might be I don't know if you're a driver, but you're still aiming it more than you're driving it, but at least you're not a steering wheel holder anymore. I would encourage you to, hit the 5-year mark, and then if you want to make that call and become an owner-operator. I think a lot of guys in my position are on board with that. They may say you can do it after 1, and it's been done. Guys have done it after a year, and they've been successful with it. Good on them. I recommend do it for 3 to 5. Get that banged out, then make the jump and make the call. As you can tell, the last time any of you saw me, I had a mouthful of teeth. Well, you don't see me smiling, do you? Hell no, I don't have any teeth. And yes, I've heard them all. Oh, attaboy, gummer. I've heard them all. Let me have it. Come on, bring it. It doesn't matter what you say. I promise you, I've heard it. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. Trust me. The teeth, yeah, I had an issue with the teeth. It was medical. And it's not because I didn't brush my teeth and floss my teeth like a good little boy. It's a disease that I inherited from my father and my grandfather. We've all had the same thing. The only one that doesn't seem to suffer from it is my brother. My teeth rot from the root up. Once 3 or 4 start going, it runs the whole gum line, top and bottom. The only thing to do was to take them out, and when we took them out, the full plans were to go with a new mouthful of chiclets, but unfortunately, the eyes went. You've only got so much money. A mouthful of new teeth is gonna run me about 10 grand. The eyeballs went, they decided to crap the bed at the same time. Gotta watch my mouth on this channel, don't I, huh? Anyway, the eyes decided to go. I didn't have enough money, so I had to recover. So financially, I've had to recover. And now I'm in a position that, yes, there are teeth coming, okay? Anyway, that's what we're talking about, eyeballs and teeth. So, in closing, you guys are going, no, Brian, not yet, don't go. No, don't go. It's like, yeah, right, whatever. It's like, all right, get this blind gummy out of here, come on. Anyway, they're gonna beep the part. See, I'm just gonna keep saying she'll just keep beeping it. So now you've just heard beep, beep, beep 3 times. What was the moral of the story? Anybody? Oh, that's, got it. What is it? Don't burn your bridges. Why? Look where I'm sitting. Yes, I'm sitting on my trailer, but I'm sitting in the ET yard. Things for me are good, and because I didn't burn those bridges when I left, I can go back to that well. And when I say that well, I mean ET. I can go back to that well if I need advice, if I need friendship, if I just need to talk to somebody about something, whatever. If I need a place to hang out, I'm good, right? I'm good. Don't burn the bridges behind you. You never know where you're gonna be. You never know what's gonna happen to you. You never know who's gonna cross your path. You just never know. Anyway, guys, it has been a ball talking to you. I've enjoyed this. I really have. I have. It's been good. There's no pressure. Ronan can take the knife out of my back when I leave. We're all good. And you know what, man? I'll see you guys around. You guys be safe. Have a good day. Enjoy your life. Make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them. Make sure you do an honest day's work. Now, I sound so happy. Jesus Christ. Nobody's gonna believe me saying that. So, all right, in closing, I'm doing well. ET's doing well. Ronan's doing well. Our camera girl, she's killing it. So, you know what? With that, man, I'll see you guys down the road.